My name's Joe Nowak, and I collect beer cans. I started collecting back in 1975 when beer can collecting was at its height, I would think. Everybody was doing it. I don't know what prompted it. So about 10 years after I started collecting, I decided life got busy and I packed up all my cans and boxes and kind of forgot about them up until about 3 years ago when I took them out of storage and started looking at them with the plan to sell them. And then I just got that urge back to get back into collecting. So when I got them out of storage and started looking at them, I had no idea what the values were. So I went online and I happened to run across a forum called the Rusty Bunch, where they had just about anything you could ever want as far as questions to be asked. And well, I started to catalog the cans and just to see how many I had and just check values of cans. And after kind of handling them a while, just really thought, well, it'd be kind of cool to start the collection back up again. So then I started acquiring cans instead of selling them, and it kind of took off from there.
When did you start getting in trouble for collecting?
Well, right away. So after viewing the site for a while, started to notice some posts about paint over cans, and it kind of got me interested. So I started checking it out and what it was and how they really came about. Paint over can is actually a label underneath another label. So the canning companies start off with a sheet of tin and they print 35 12-ounce cans on a sheet. They run it through a printing press and lay down different colors of ink. Well, either due to overrun or a flaw in the original print, they'd set those sheets aside, and when they had enough of them, they would run them back through the press, more than likely as a different label, and print over the top of them with a gray primer in between. Some cans do show signs of being a paint over. They include that primer stripe at the seam. There can be multiple canning code numbers at the seam, and different color canning code numbers is a real good example of a paint over can. After discovering there was paint over cans, and I had all my cans out of the boxes and all stacked up in the garage, I started going through those trying to find some, and I did. I found about 3 or 4 of them. So once I had these cans, I was pretty eager to get going and take the top label off. So I went to it, and after hours and hours and hours of rubbing off the outer paint layer, I thought it was really cool, but I wasn't quite that patient. So then I did practice on those first couple, just doing them by hand. But then I started thinking of ways how I could speed the process up and get a better product at the end. So after I finished those cans, I wanted more, so I went to eBay and started looking for cans and finally got some more. And by this time the wheels were spinning, and how could I speed this process up? And reading on the forum, some of the guys used power polishing wheels. So I had no idea what that was. So I went to our local auto parts store and got a foam buffing pad that fit on a drill and brought it home and put it on my drill and threw some rubbing compound on there and gave it a whirl. So it was exponentially faster for taking the top layer off But there was some trial and error because if you go too fast with it or push too hard, you'll burn right through both labels. One thing I found out is that no two cans are the same. They put different thicknesses of paint and different hardnesses of paint on the cans. So if I had a can and I knew it was under it and I already had that can in my collection, I would experiment with detailing it in different ways. In fact, by being able to date the labels on one of the 3-layer cans, that particular can sat on the canning room floor for 8 years before it actually went out the door. That's the one I was messing around with to do the stripes. That's the one I played around with, kind of a peel out look. And that's the one, it's actually a transmission fluid sealer can underneath a beer can. So the exciting part about doing paint over cans is you're not always positive what's underneath. You can generally guess what's under them, but it's kind of like scratch off tickets. You never know what you're going to get underneath it till you start working on it. It's as thrilling to get a different label to add to my collection as it is to get a unique label underneath. They're personal because I made them. That's what I control. I control how the can comes out, and that's what really makes them special. I can't. I just like them, man. Takes me back to when I was a kid. I don't know. All they are is steel with paint on them. Right?